So the next step here, before we talk about proactive activities, we're going to talk about proactive versus reactive parenting. Now, we all know that parenting is an art form. However, there are certain things that should be followed, and there are certain things we should probably put on the back burner and look at a little bit more. We're going to talk about two concepts here, proactive and reactive parenting. Let's deal with reactive first. Reactive is the spur-of-the-moment reactions that you have to your child when they misbehave. You know what I'm talking about. Sometimes you pat them on the butt, or it's that knee-jerk reaction without thinking, disciplined response to when your child behaves. It is sporadic, and most importantly, it is emotional. And I tell parents, and I'll tell you, that you have to take your emotion out of the parenting process, because you don't want a child to improve their behavior just to make you feel better. And if you're ejecting your emotion while you're parenting, that's essentially what you're telling your child, is that their behavior regulation is so that they can make you feel better. We want to eliminate that. We want kids to improve their behavior because it is the right thing to do, because it will make them feel better in the long run. So we want to reverse that cycle. So the way we do that is through proactive parenting. In other words, we want to be aware of how we parent, and we want to be aware of what are our child's challenges in advance. And so proactive parenting is the planned course of action to help combat adolescent predictable behavioral challenges. Everything that your child is doing right now, they're probably going to do 2 months from now if you don't deal with it. As a matter of fact, for the next 2 months, I can promise you that about a good 80% of what your child does can be predicted, for the most part. Because we know our children. We know what they're apt to do. We know it. As a matter of fact, they know it too. So because we know that, we can set up a plan to help them circumvent those things in advance, long before the temptation or the challenge arises. So proactive parenting, a controlled verbal and emotional response to child. And so when we look at their behavior that we know that they display all the time, what we want to do is set in our mind how we're going to react to that behavior in advance. What that'll help you do is it'll help you have a sincere relationship with your child. And it'll help not only build a relationship with them, but it will also help them see their behavior for themselves and not based on how you see it. This process of proactive parenting requires practice, repetition, and consistency. Now, they all look like the same word there, but understand that you have to put into practice what you preach. Not only for them, but for yourselves. You want to repeat it as often as possible. And then consistency is the long haul. In other words, you want to endure, you want to create this lasting, if you want to create this lasting impact on your child, you want to make sure that you are following through and you're creating a certain amount of consistency in how you approach their behavior or misbehavior.